afternoon and welcome to Congleton High School's BBC School Report on Thursday 19th of March. I'm Jo.
And I'm Letitia. 4 people have been arrested in connection with the Tunisia museum attack yesterday, which killed over 20 people, including a British woman.
In other news, the election battle for this year's general election is heating up after Chancellor George Osborne made his last budget yesterday before May's election.
People with breathing problems have been warned to take care and carry their inhalers with them at all times. Britain has been placed on a health alert because of a potentially dangerous cloud of air pollution from Europe.
Sport now, and there will be no Premier League team in the quarter-finals of this season's Champions League following Manchester City's exit to Barcelona last night after a 3-1 defeat on aggregate.
A daredevil grandma has gone skydiving for her 100th birthday, proving that age is no boundary, hurtling from the plane at 120 miles per hour to celebrate her birthday in style.
British wheelchair fencer Adrian Derbyshire visited Congleton High School today to speak to Year 9 students about his incredible life, sport, disability awareness and hate crime. I went to speak to him. In August 2008, how did your life change forever?
I just went to bed, as we all do, and to wake up 3 days later in hospital was obviously really scary for myself. For the doctors to say, yeah, I had a brain hemorrhage during the night 3 days ago, that I've only just woken up and that I had literally days to live, it just obviously changed my life forever.
You've gone to achieve some great things. You haven't let disability hold you back at all. What do you think the key to your success has been?
Determination and stubbornness, not giving up, and I said, no, I'm gonna live every day, you know, because it could possibly well be my last, and to try sport and to take it from there. And it's been an amazing journey for myself.
How has sport helped you?
Sport saved my life, if I'm really honest with you. It gave me, you know, the will to fight, and gave me, you know, a purpose in life again.
You're a man who likes a challenge. Just tell us a little bit more about this hand trike and what you've been using it for.
Yeah, the hand cycle is a massive challenge, and it was actually a crazy challenge because people were saying you've got to hand cycle a marathon a day, 26 miles a day, every day. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I've hand cycled over 3,500 miles, and obviously lots more this year. I'm also doing, I believe it's called Hell on the Humber. It's a Humber bridge in Yorkshire, and I'm hand cycling for 24 hours. But it's a great challenge. I love challenges.
What do you hope your talks like here at Congleton High School will achieve? 2
things really. I hope that they really think about the stigma, bullying and hate crime aspect of it as well. It's very, I'm passionate about that because I've been a victim and still am a victim of hate crime, and it still hurts my feelings, and I'm a grown man. Think about what you say before you say it. Think about, you know, the ramifications of bullying, but also as well to get you all inspired to be the best that you can be and to achieve lots and lots of things. So if I can do it, you can.
What experience have you faced regarding hate crime?
Oh, lots. I had McDonald's thrown at me, hamburgers thrown at me whilst I've been on the street. I've been heckled and called quite a lot actually. It happens at least probably once a week.
What advice would you give to anybody who is a victim of hate crime?
Report it, talk about it. It's highly underreported because people just, once they get bullied or, you know, are a victim of hate crime, they isolate themselves, and that's when you start getting anxiety, depression. The most important thing regarding stigma, bullying and hate crime, you've got to talk to someone about it.
What are you most proud of in your life?
Wow, that's a really good question. If I'm really honest with you, I'm receiving these letters from young adults and children saying, you know, I've been self-harming, and, you know, I listened to what you had to say, and the first thing I did was to talk to my mum about it. And I never really honestly thought it would go to that extent of saving lives, but it is. And so that's what probably I'm most proud of.
Thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
Adrian talked about how hate crime can lead to depression and isolation. Kaylee, Jessica, Summer and Letitia have been looking into mental health issues and the stigma that is attached to them.
Today we're exploring the theme of mental health issues and the stigma that surrounds it in 2015. From politicians to musicians to YouTubers to bloggers, it seems mental health issues could affect anyone at any time.
I think it's something that affects how you think and how you go about your daily routine, and it can affect how you distance yourself from others, really.
I think it's quite hard to tell when someone has mental health issues because they do hide it quite well, and like you can't really see it from the outside. So
it's not always easily spotted. People don't always admit to having problems, and it's very underestimated. There's lots of people suffer with it, but again themselves won't admit to it, let alone are able to get their doctors to admit that they are suffering from mental illness.
We can say that mental illness can be defined as a health condition that challenges the person's thinkings, feelings, behaviour, or all three. Doctors of Cambridge recently did some work to raise awareness for mental health issues surrounding young people.
The stigma around mental health means that many children do not get the help that they so badly need. No one would feel embarrassed about seeking help for a child if they broke their arm. And we really should be equally ready to support a child coping with emotional difficulties.
As a psychology teacher, what people should do if they think that they or a friend have mental health issues.
If we've got a student, for example, in school who we think suffering from mental health issues, we normally advise them to go and see the doctor. If we're certain, for example, they're suffering from anxiety or stress or depression, we would normally send them directly to the doctor because they're the experts, we aren't the experts as such. But first of all, it'd be go and see your doctor, and second of all, speak to your friends and family who you trust.
Tomorrow will be the last time a solar eclipse will be visible from the UK for over a decade. Josh has more.
It was scenes like this that greeted the UK in 1999, with the beautiful solar eclipse appearing around notorious British landmarks such as Stonehenge. Well now, that wonder and natural beauty is about to return, and it promises to be even bigger and even better.
On the 20th of March, the UK will be subject to its first countrywide solar eclipse since 1961. The phenomenon described as a significant partial eclipse, and something that shall not be seen again until 2090. This is something then beyond our lifetime.
The positioning of the stars helps to determine the number of eclipses, which can then lead to totality, which occurs when the moon completely obscures the sun, so that only the solar corona is showing, which is a ray of light seen from the outside of the sun. A step up from the eclipse we will be seeing on Friday is a total eclipse, one much rarer. On average, these can last up to 7.5 minutes, with a width of 160 kilometres sweeping across the area of Earth's surface and about 10,000 miles long.
So what exactly is a solar eclipse?
Okay, a solar eclipse is where the sun, the moon and the earth align, so that when we look at it, the moon goes across and it's going to cover up the sun.
This will surely be a natural marvel to behold, so how can we safely view it?
Okay, we need to be really, really careful. It's not good to look at the sun at any time, okay? So you need to try and find a way of looking at it safely. So a number of different things you can do. The first thing you can do is, if you've had time and you've been able to get yourself organised, you could get yourself some special glasses. So not sunglasses, not bits of dark plastic or anything like that. These proper glasses that you can look at the sun with. If you haven't got those, or you've not got yourselves organised, all you need is a bit of card and a bit of paper. And all you need to do is, if you just put a little hole in the piece of card, probably about, if you got a compass and just wiggled it around and make a little hole, and then if you can imagine the sun was behind you, if you held that piece of card there, and then you had a piece of clear paper in front of it, you'd be able to look at the piece of paper and see the eclipse quite safely on that piece of paper.
Will weather affect the viewing of the eclipse?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, you've seen over the last few days that it's been foggy and cloudy in the morning. So hopefully on the Friday it won't be so cloudy or foggy in the morning. If it is, we won't be able to see it clearly, but we will be able to see how it gets a lot darker when the moon gets in the way of the sun.
Will this event help to start young people on a path to astronomy, following role models such as Brian Cox?
I think it will. I remember the last time that we had a big solar eclipse, and that was back in 1999. And it was there were a lot of people that came out from that were just a lot more interested in things that were happening out in space. And I think the fact that this is something that doesn't regularly happen means that it's something that people want to watch and look at, and then they want to ask questions about why it's happened. So I think you're right. I think it will have an effect on people's interest in what's going on in space.
The eclipse will first appear in the southwest around 8:32 AM, and its moment of maximum coverage at 9:32 over Belfast, with an estimated coverage of 89%. However, we only have a short amount of time to gaze at this solar marvel, as after 2 hours and 20 minutes, it will be gone, with the final appearance at 10:41 AM over Aberdeen. So, wherever you may be, take a moment to look up and marvel at the wondrous event you may never see again.
Kaylee, Jessica, Letitia and Summer have been investigating what life is like living with diabetes.
Following our research about mental health issues, we decided to do a report on both types of diabetes. I'm here with Kaylee to tell us more. What is diabetes?
Type 1 diabetes is when your body no longer produces insulin. This is also known as insulin dependent. Type 2 diabetes is more common. It's when your body doesn't use the insulin properly. This is called insulin resistant.
What are the symptoms for diabetes?
There are many symptoms for both types of diabetes, such as passing urine more often, increased thirst, extreme tiredness, unexplained weight loss and blurred vision. With type 1 you check your blood sugars about 4 times a day. From the results you can check how much insulin you need, which is a small injection you take before meals and night.
Team Congleton have launched a local campaign to get more people active in Congleton. Adam has been to meet 1964 Olympic medalists Anne and Robbie Brightwell.
It may have been 50 years ago last October since Anne Packer won 800-metre gold and Robbie Brightwell won silver at the 1964 Olympics, but they've embarked on a new challenge, getting people active. They've launched a campaign to get Congleton on the move, titled Every Step Counts. The project is designed to engage all sections of the Congleton community in a grassroots walking programme in the month of July. There will be various walks and walking challenges that everyone in the town can get involved in. The campaign is based upon NHS claims that walking for 25 to 30 minutes a day could bring enormous health benefits and could potentially save billions of pounds from an already stretched NHS budget, with 65% of adults and 52% of school children failing to achieve the recommended amount of daily exercise.
Our latest campaign is to try and get our community active, not sweaty and in distress, but walking and hopefully maintaining their walking. We're doing it during the month of July, but we're hoping that there'll be a legacy where people will discover that you feel better when you have a bit of exercise, and maybe they'll leave their cars at home from time to time and walk where they have previously gone by car. So we're just hoping to get the whole community active.
The whole purpose of the campaign is to try and activate people, to get them moving, to mobilise them, and to maybe leave their vehicles at home a bit more, or to walk the children to school, or to engage in activities that actually get them moving and exercising, because this lack of exercise is costing us roughly £47 billion a year, which is a third of the national health budget.
We're hoping that once people start moving, that they'll find that it's fun, that they enjoy walking, that they will enjoy the health benefits of walking, and basically, we're very concerned about the state of our National Health Service. It's going to collapse if we don't do something about inactivity, because people are just becoming more and more sedentary. You know, there are always people in town who are very active, but the majority are not. So we're just hoping that we can bring them into this circle of activity. And Congleton people do respond to community effort, and they very much like to take part in what's going on in the town, and we're hoping to capture their imagination and their feet.
Adam Bailey, BBC School Report, Congleton.
Finally, Joe and Asa have been exploring crazes through the ages.
Today we are going to be exploring the themes of crazes. From loom bands to Tamagotchis, from Furbies to Pokemon, it seems crazes have been a constant presence in our cultural landscape.
In this report we will be asking the question, are crazes just silly fads, or is there something we can learn from them? We asked a range of people across the generations what they can remember.
Can you list the crazes you can remember?
From primary school, definitely football stickers and definitely Tamagotchis were really popular.
Do you remember something like Furbies or Pokemon?
Pokemon, I think friends were more into than me, but I definitely remembered some of the names. Furbies not as much.
Monopoly, playing cards and playing dominoes.
Do you remember any crazes such as Furbies or Pokemon?
My children had Furbies, not Pokemon though.
Crazy Bones in primary school and Top Trumps, they were quite big.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, and they weren't allowed to call them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in England, even though that's what they were called. They had to change the word ninja to hero because there was something that ninjas were scary, and somebody had made their own nunchucks out of bits of wood at home and injured someone with them, so we had to call them hero turtles. And you could see the word on the introduction.
So gooey aliens in an egg. It was so much fun and everyone had them at my school.
So it would appear that crazes are constantly with us, but they are not going anywhere.
So we know more of the modern crazes, but what are the more historic crazes? We interviewed some history teachers to find out more.
Right, well, the craze I'm going to talk about is one which was big in the Victorian period, and it was to do with beards. Now you see, the Victorians, they absolutely loved a good beard, and you get all sorts of different styles. So some people, they go for these absolutely enormous bushy beards which would come right down to their tummies. Other people, what they'd sometimes do, they'd grow a huge beard, but they'd actually just shave their chin and around their lips, they'd have a bit of a gap there. Others, they'd have great big mutton chops, but they'd shave the rest. So if you look at pictures of Victorians, you'll see they had all sorts of really, really crazy beards and moustaches as well.
In the 1700s, ladies liked to have the hair higher and higher and higher and higher. So in the end, they looked totally ridiculous. They looked like Marge Simpson. Huge hair, like that. And it went on from there. At one point, this is rather bizarre, the ladies, it became very fashionable, quite the craze to have a large bottom. And what they did, they actually started to put devices in their dresses called whalebone something or others, I can't remember the exact name, that would stick out of the back like that. So you had a huge accentuated false bottom in the back of your dress. And if you did that, it was the height of fashion.
So it appears that crazes are still ever present, and there is always an idea of twisted crazes. They conjure up nostalgia and make us think of our childhood. We think that crazes bring about positive emotions, and we are optimistic about the future. Crazes. Let's see what crazes the digital world can come up with in the future.
This was CHS's BBC School Report.
Thank you for watching.